I was pretty happy about the possibility, but it didn't work out. As luck would have it, the house has been assigned to another family who've been waiting some time, meanwhile living in one of the Quonset huts. And so that's how we happened to be moving into their Quonset hut on October 1st. I rushed right over to see it. It's temporary housing, of course, but these people had fixed theirs up attractively. We can do the same while we're waiting for one of the permanent houses. We'll need just about everything we have at home, except the kitchen sink, so you better start packing. Be prepared for a heavy social life, too. Everything from bridge parties at home to sports at the club. My favorite spot is the pool, even though it's mighty lonely there without you. No fun at all, really. You asked about medical care. There's a CREOLE dispensary for both employees and dependents. I've looked over the school, too. It's also maintained by the company. The principal is a North American, but education is in both English and Spanish. They try to make all the children bilingual. And Jeff will start learning Spanish in the 1st grade.
Mike, ¿qué hacen los niños?
Los niños juegan.
¿Dónde juegan los niños?
Los niños juegan en el patio.
Shirley, ¿con quién juegan los niños?
Los niños jueguen con el amigos y el perro.
Those kids made me feel a little ashamed of my Spanish, or lack of it. Everything I've described is inside the oil camp. But CREOLE is now trying to get away from the old idea of a company camp. Eventually, they want their people to live in regular towns, where that's possible. I saw some results of this new policy when I visited CREOLE's refinery at Amway recently. We drove through the residential area, where many of the homes were built by private contractors, partially financed by the company. The houses are sold or rented to anyone, not just CREOLE employees. The worker is even helped with his down payment if he needs it. But after that, he and his family are on their own, just as in the United States. Instead of company commissaries, they have privately operated shopping centers. Some of them started with loans from CREOLE. The idea of this community integration project is to make people independent instead of having to look to the company for everything. It's an interesting new development. And speaking of new developments,
Anne, I'm being sent for a month's study of Spanish in Caracas. That's where I'll be writing from next.
I traveled to Caracas by air, of course, landing at Maiquetía, right on the shore of the Caribbean. Then we started up through the mountains on one of the most remarkable highways in the world, the Autopista. It took us just 20 minutes to climb to 3,000 feet, the altitude of Caracas. Suddenly, we were in the city. It's laid along a narrow valley just behind the coastal mountains. downtown area is dominated by the Centro Simón Bolívar, a building development something like Radio City, except that superhighways go through it and under it. I had the driver take me for a ride around the city. He showed me the new sections in the east, where just 10 years ago there were sugarcane and coffee plantations.